Okay, pick 34. The Houston Texans get a new weapon for C.J. Stroud and Jayden Higgins, wide receiver, out of Iowa State. What do you think of the player, Connor?
I love this player. He was 20th overall for me. I was definitely a little higher on him compared to the rest of, draft consensus. Big build, long arms, contested catch guy. I think good separator underneath slant routes. He's not going to run away from a lot of people down the field, but he doesn't have to. A-plus tracking skills. He showed that at the Senior Bowl. Really productive in the red zone the last 2 years. 15 touchdowns over the last 2 years. Only 2 drops per each of the last 2 seasons. So reliable hands, great positioning, just a ball winner on the outside, but he did get to play inside in this offense as well. So versatility for Jayden Higgins. C.J. Stroud is going to love seeing him out there at wide receiver.
Yeah, I think great landing spot for him dynasty-wise. The concern here is, you mentioned, not a great separator, right? And so you think about that offensive line, which was a brutal issue for the Texans last year, and so far, they haven't addressed it this offseason, really, or in the draft yet. So we will see when everything is all settled, but you worry about C.J. Stroud having enough time to get the ball to these guys. And by the way, you think about this offense last year. Now, I know they fired the offense coordinator, but still, they had Stephon Diggs, they had Tank Dell before he got injured, and it wasn't like those 3 guys were all productive at the same time. They want to be more balanced on offense. They still want to run the ball with Joe Mixon. So I don't know, again, love it for dynasty to grow with C.J. Stroud, but in redraft, I can't imagine having this guy inside my top 50, Lawrence.
Yeah, not in redraft, not for this season. He could be something like of what Keon Coleman was like for the Bills last year, where you saw the dominance he could have in the red zone, jump balls, catching it like that. So he could take the pressure off of a Nico Collins once they get in the red area, but not for redraft this season.
Remember, they also have Christian Kirk. They also have Dalton Schultz. And again, I think they're going to be more balanced on offense.
Yep, a lot of weapons for C.J. Stroud. He adds another one, but perhaps more value in the long term than the short term. Bit of a surprise, pick 36, the Cleveland Browns take Quinshon Judkins from Ohio State. He was plus 700 to go before his teammate TreVeyon Henderson. But what do you think of his fit on the Browns? What do you think of the player?
Right move for me. I had him ranked over Henderson. I love this player. Battering ram, violent. You look at the Ole Miss tape before he transferred to Ohio State. 73 snaps in the slot or out wide. The pass catching ability is there. He just didn't have to do it at Ohio State. But once again, the ability to run through contact, 221 pounds. So this is somebody that is, jacked from head to toe. Oak tree legs, it does not fumble. You got a blend of elusiveness, power. I think this guy's going to be a star. I really do. In this scheme, I think he's going to be a star under Stefanski. He's going to be a workhorse. Man, he's just such a talented player that just because he was in a committee on a team that won a national title, it took away the spotlight for him. But the absolute RB3 of this draft.
It's clear by this draft pick that they're not bringing Nick Chubb back, right? Decent offensive line there. David Njoku, a very good blocker as well. Stefanski loves to do play action, loves to run the ball, to set up the pass. And whether it's Joe Flacco or somebody else under center, this is going to be a fun offense. I don't know if it's going to be a good offense, but you think about Njoku and Jerry Jeudy and our guy Club said, Cedric Tillman there, and now you've got Judkins in the backfield. Right. I love this landing, and if they can use him even a little bit in the passing game. Like we saw Jerome Ford be productive in this offense when they were brutal. I think he's clearly a top 20 guy that has the chance, if he gets some touchdown equity, to flirt with top 12 numbers, Lawrence.
Who you want in redraft this year? Quinshon Judkins now at this spot, or Amari and Hampton with Najee Harris for the Chargers?
Quinshon, not even close. Yeah. It's just a great opportunity.
In
redraft, yes.
And as far as dynasty right now, you had, because a lot of drafts had TreVeyon Henderson going over Quinshon Judkins, you have to flip-flop that now until we see where Henderson goes.
Okay.
Yeah, look, Kevin Stefanski has always had good run games wherever he goes. Fantasy productive. Love the landing spot. Ohio State guy gets to stay home in Ohio.
Little run on Ohio State running backs, 2 picks after Quinshon Judkins. The Patriots take TreVeyon Henderson, his teammate. Lawrence, what do you think of the landing spot?
Landing spot, not the greatest. The talent, excellent. You still have Ramondre Stevenson there, so that out the gate lets you know he's not in line for a workload similar to what Quinshon Judkins might get. He'll be their explosive back. He'll be their speed guy. Speed is something that this offense lacks. So you could see him being the third down back in this offense, probably like a long shot flex play as a rookie here, especially since they just paid Ramondre.
That's the key, home run hitter in an offense that does not have home run hitting speed. That's what TreVeyon Henderson brings to the table, protects the football, no fumbles over the last 3 years, an outside zone, the burst is insane. really creative in the open field, whether that's on dump-offs or those toss plays that they run. You see the stiff arms, the spins, and a violent pass protector, which is going to keep him on the field on passing downs. The biggest thing with TreVeyon Henderson, who a couple years ago, if he was in a draft, he would have been a first-round pick. He had the foot injury at Ohio State. It slowed down his touches. They were careful with him this year. They didn't give him 20 touches per game. So that'll be interesting to see at the NFL level, but a really fun talent.
But by the way, that's why it's a perfect landing spot NFL-wise, because he doesn't need to carry the load because they have Ramondre Stevenson. But it's still a bad offensive line. I think, like, he's going to be in the 25 to 30 range among running backs. Like, he'll have some spike weeks, but it's just an offense that we don't expect to score a ton. You've got Ramondre Stevenson there. Again, really love the player, and long-term it's going to be fine. But this year, fantasy-wise redraft, I think he's a low-end flex because of the lack of production that we're going to think this offense has, and the fact that Stevenson is there as well.
Yep, Patriots have a win total of 7.5, which is usually surprising to people that it's so high, but he might be in more game scripts that are positive than you might expect for a team that really struggled last season.
And you could see them getting Drake May on the move and dumping it off to Henderson, who's such a good pass catcher, and trying to go for those home runs. But it just, in terms of consistent fantasy production, I'm not sure you're going to see it this year as long as Stevenson's healthy.
I'll say this. As we get towards the middle of the season in 2025, like, don't be shocked if it's a situation like Bucky Irvin and Rachaad White last year.
Yeah,
I agree.
The better player just took over, and that's what TreVeyon Henderson is. But like we all know, it probably won't be like that straight out the gate.
Okay, well, there's no more excuses for Caleb Williams, Connor.
No.
He gets
How much help does he need?
Another weapon in Luther Burden III out of Missouri, pick 39. What do you think of the player?
This is a really interesting landing spot because he does so many great things after the catch. And in that offense, DJ Moore has done a lot of that. Listen, in 2023, when everything was clicking for Luther Burden, 724 yards after the catch. After the catch. He reminded me of Brandon Ayuk that year. This year, the production fell off. The offense was a mess. There was times where he looked frustrated. But when you watch this guy at his best, I thought he played bigger than his size. He could play anywhere on the field. He could play inside and outside. He can win vertically. He can run those shallow crossers. Last 2 years, 19 for 35 on contested catch situations. For a guy that's not a big wide receiver, he plays bigger than that. They ran the slot fade with him a lot. He looked really – I saw bigger ceiling in the right NFL offense. This is an offense that could go big play hunting for Luther Burden.
And by the way, you think about his skill set, and you think about what Caleb Williams does well in terms of extending the play and sort of getting outside of schedule. Like, I think you could see, like, them connecting it once they get on the same page. Fantasy-wise, though, at least in redraft, you don't love this landing spot just because they've got DJ Moore, they've got Rome Odunze. We saw that this offense couldn't support three relevant wide receivers last year. Now, again, Ben Johnson is there new, but, like, we didn't see three fantasy relevant wide receivers in Detroit, which was a much more robust offense. And then you've also got Colston Loveland, you've also got Cole Kmet, you've got DeAndre Swift out of the backfield. They probably draft another running back here. It's just a lot of mouths to feed. So, unfortunately, you like it dynasty-wise because he gets to grow along with Caleb Williams, but redraft-wise, he's not going to be in my top 50.
Do you think he sees him, though, in the Amon-Ra role? Because I can see that for him.
Because he could do everything. He's so versatile. He's the guy that you want to get the ball near the line of scrimmage because he's elusive in the open field. So he could get those little cheap receptions and do something with him. He's their guy to do that now.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotorWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.